Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today it's going to be my 6-month review of my Range Rover Sport. So I bought this Range Rover back in January 2024. I've done a couple of videos since, so this one's going to be purely about how my experience has been over the last 6 months owning this car. If you want to check out some more videos about the car, then I'll put links in the description. I've done videos on, you know, should you buy a Range Rover in 2024, to talk about depreciation. I've talked about maintenance. I've talked about insurance and what that was like for me as well, because all these questions, thefts and stuff like that, they're all sort of big concerns in and around the JLR product at the minute. But today it's all about how I've found owning this car for the last 6 months. So here we go. So I guess firstly I'll address, how have I found the car in the first 6 months of ownership? Do I enjoy the car? Yes, I absolutely do. I really do love a Range Rover, and I do. Even though this is a 2015, you know, so it's creeping up on 10 years old now, it's done 82,000 miles. I still really enjoy this car. It's such a nice place to be. It feels like a luxury premium car. It's smooth, it's quiet, gets up and goes all right. It's 300 odd horsepower. Don't get me wrong, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it definitely does move, and I do enjoy being in the car. It fits my requirements proper well. Such good grammar there. It fits the purpose for me really well. I wanted a bigger car because we're starting a family now. I like Range Rovers anyway, and this is just great. This car, I use it as, well, a passenger vehicle, a van. I chuck stuff in the back, do tip runs in it. It's just been a godsend for that. It's got plenty of room, and I do enjoy the drive. So I have enjoyed the car over the last 6 months. One of the main questions I guess people will be wanting to have answered would be, has the car been reliable for the first 6 months? Well, in summary, yeah, it has, to be honest. Has it had any problems? Yes, it has. Welcome to Range Rover ownership. It's definitely had a couple of quirks. So the problems I've experienced with this car in the 6 months that I've owned it are the passenger heated seat has stopped working, and I do get a recurring intermittent issue with the door locks, I can assume, because every now and then I can be sat at home watching TV, or even in bloody bed at like 11 o'clock at night, you just hear a bip bip, and it'll just keep doing that. The only way to stop it is to unlock the car, open all the doors in the boot, shut it all, lock it again, and it seems to stop it. But that is common with these things. There's problems with the BCM and the door locks. I haven't had that investigated yet, but I assume it's one of the locks or the BCM, not a major thing either way. And the other thing, which is the same that happened with my last Range Rover, is at random points, it's only when the car's static, locked or open, doesn't matter, the tailgate will open and shut by itself, just when it wants to. So yeah, quirks of Land Rover ownership, I guess. I'm not concerned about any of those things. I've got a warranty to cover it, and that's what I'll talk about next. So I promised in one of my last videos I was going to talk about warranty, and I guess the question is, do I recommend a warranty for these cars? Absolutely, I definitely do. The next question is, which warranty do I recommend? Now that's a really hard question to answer, because I've had experience with a handful of warranty companies, and there are plenty of options on the table for people. So if you buy this car approved used, it will come with a Land Rover warranty for 12 months. You can purchase an approved used warranty through Land Rover, even if you didn't buy the car from them, but it is subject to a £500 health inspection, which, no matter how much I tried to ask over the phone and email, I couldn't really get to the crux of what that entailed. So, you know, I thought the last thing I want to do is whip it into the dealer, really, then find a plethora of things I've got to do to the car before I can even pay for this warranty, which was about £1,500 for 12 months. Yeah, I just didn't want to subject myself to that, because I weighed up the pros and cons. Let's talk about the Land Rover warranty. It was £500 for an inspection, 1,500 quid for the warranty. It returns market value for the car, as far as I'm aware, in terms of the claims limit, the total claims limit, and it will pay Land Rover labour rates, which is great. Sounds like a good warranty. But what I am concerned about is how efficient they are at actually dealing with the warranties, because you can have the best warranty in the world on paper, but if the person on the other end of the phone isn't motivated to get these things sorted for you, and you have a hard time on the phone all the time, and it takes all the value out of the warranty, doesn't it? So I weighed at the pros and cons. The Land Rover warranty looked really good on paper, but I decided against it because I didn't want to subject myself to that £500 health check, knowing that they're going to find things on a 9-year-old car that I need to spend a load of money on. And the fact that it took me so long and so many tries just to get basic information from them over the phone and email, I just didn't trust the service. So I went away from that. I went with a trusted warranty company that I use. It's a company called AutoGuard, right? And they have a £6,000 including VAT claim limit, a £70 an hour plus VAT labour rate. You can pay to upgrade that to £100 an hour plus VAT, which is what I've done. So that will cover me to go to, for instance, James French, the Land Rover specialist I use in Whitney, who are ever so good. I talked about specialist versus main dealer repairs in one of the other videos, so you should check that out. They're who I trust. They're specialists, ex-master techs, and they're really motivated to help the customer out. So I thought, you know what, that warranty's good enough for me, because even if the engine blows up, I should be able to get it reconned for within or close to that threshold. And the warranty company, from previous experience, AutoGuard, they've just been so good. They're really easy to talk to on the phone. There's no slipperiness with them. As long as it's, you know, you're not trying to claim for something that's just way out of the realms of what you should be trying to claim for, brakes and stuff like that. They're really good. So I have ultimate peace of mind in that warranty, and it's going to work for me when I need to use it. I've used them before, had them work for me before, and I've actually never had a claim rejected for something that I felt should have been. So I'm really happy to go with them. So that's what I've done. If you want to look more into their warranties, AutoGuard warranties, they're an award-winning company. I've used one, we use them at work. I can't recommend them enough. It was a toss-up between that and the, like I say, the Land Rover warranty, because I thought for ultimate peace of mind, that might be the thing to do. But you know what, after weighing out the pros and cons and the efficiency of the actual company dealing with me as a customer, I went with the third-party one. So, you know, I'm not going to tell you which way's right or wrong. That's just what fitted me best. Okay, so we'll move on. So the next thing to address then, I suppose I should talk about what I like and dislike about this car. I love how it drives. I love how it drives. It's so smooth and refined. As I said at the start of the video even, you get a real sense of premium and luxury with these cars. So I'm awesomely happy with how the car drives. I absolutely love it. I love the space and flexibility with this car. You can fit 5 people in it just fine. Like I say, I've done tip runs in it, runs to the unit with car parts in it, and it just fulfills that purpose absolutely fine. I love the towing capacity. That's something that I'm going to be taking advantage of soon, because the towing capacity for this car, I think, is either 3 or 3,500 kilograms, which is awesome. So it will tow a good sized trailer and one of the track cars on the back, no problem. So I was a real big fan of that. Its ability to do long journeys for me is a thing as well. So I don't do long journeys awesomely often, but every now and then we do. And when we go on holiday and stuff like that, it's just such a nice car to be in, and it whips all the luggage in. So the facility to do long journeys in this car is so easy. And because of how refined it is, you just get out the other side feeling fresh as a daisy. It's not a laborious trip at all. So I really enjoy the ability of this car to do long journeys. The fuel consumption is not bad. It's not something I hate about the car. In fact, I do think it's pretty sensible. Let's just play with the trip computer here a minute. So I've averaged 24 miles per hour in this car, which has returned an average MPG of 29.0, which I think is pretty good. Pretty good considering it's a big old heavy truck with a 300 horsepower lump underneath it. I think that's pretty good. So I am gonna say that's a like of mine, the MPG. I also like how it looks. I do like how it looks. I think it's still modern. I don't think it's dated yet. And I enjoy the styling of the Range Rover, and I enjoy the interior as well. I will expand on that a little bit by saying the interior I do like on the whole. The seats, the roof lining, the visibility, the steering wheel, and the what do you call this thing? The dash binnacle, I guess. Basically the speedos and stuff. I do enjoy that. I'm a fan of that. So that is a like of mine. I also like the spec. The spec features on this car. I've got the pan roof, which I enjoy, and I think the spec is standards pretty good for this. Is an entry level one. It's a HSE, but a basic HSE with no bolt-ons except the fixed side steps and the roof, and the heated seats in the rear. I think the spec on this car is fine. You get a nice amount of creature comforts, folding mirrors. This one's got comfort access, memory seats, dual zone climate control, you know, nav, cruise. It's fine. The spec I do like. It's absolutely fine. Another like of mine is that this one's 7 seats, so I do like that. Like I say, we're expecting now, so I think the 7 seats may come in handy. But even if they don't, I like that they fold flat in the boot, which ties onto the back of the fact that I like the space and versatility of this car. I also like the engine and gearbox. I do. I think that the gearbox, the ZF transmission, is really, really good. Even a car of 9-year-old technology now, the gearbox is still really smooth. It's just effortless to drive, and the engine's really good. Like it's smooth, it's quiet, it's plenty powerful enough for what I need it for. I do enjoy the engine, and it's quiet. It's nice and quiet, which I like. I'm getting older now. I like that. I actually really like the light interior in this car, so I'm really glad that I've got the contrast in this car with the sort of black dash and the cream seats, the cream roof lining, and the cream elements of the dash and stuff. I do like it. I think it brightens up the experience inside the car. I am a fan of light interiors. I know that's, you know, quite controversial. I think it's a Marmite decision that, you know, some of you will agree, some of you will disagree, but I do like the beige. Beige, just not a nice word, is it? Beige. Let's go with cream. The creme finish. Something else I really love about this car, actually, is one of my favourite things, is just the ability to drive it anywhere, anywhen. Doesn't matter what the weather is outside, it doesn't matter what the roads are like, this car swallows potholes, it whips around in the rain. You know, when I go down the yard and stuff, it's muddy and gravelly and that, and there's just nothing to this car. I absolutely love that. I've no fear driving this car in any weather, any condition. I just absolutely love it. So dislikes. The big one. What do I dislike about this car? There are a few things. I must be fair. It's only fair to be objective in these videos. None of them put me off the car enough to regret buying it, but dislikes. So a dislike is difficult to class this as a dislike, but sometimes the size of it is impractical. Just a minute ago when I was pulling out of work, the fact that it's so big, sometimes when your visibility is reduced in certain situations, it's really hard to get like a good field of view around you to know if it's safe to pull out and stuff. It is a big car, so that does hinder me sometimes. I dislike the little niggles that Land Rovers come with, but listen, I knew that before I got into it. So I do dislike the fact that sometimes it wakes me up at 1 o'clock in the morning because it's beeping away and I've got to go downstairs and open all the flipping doors in the boot just to shut the bastard thing up. I do dislike that. I definitely don't like it. But as I say, it's not enough to make me hate the car. Another dislike that's difficult to class as a dislike is how other people perceive you driving a Range Rover, because no one lets you out of junctions or anything. I think they take one look at you in a Range Rover and think, what a cock. That's how it feels. No one likes you. So I do dislike that. I don't think it's the car's fault. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I do dislike the fact that I don't think you get any courtesy on the road being in a Range Rover. You don't. Whose fault's that? I don't know. You tell me. The other thing I dislike is, it's not like I dislike it, I just wish I had more, which is the spec of this car. So, this, like I say, this is middle class problems, right? The spec's fine, okay? You wouldn't, you know, it's not anything that's going to cause me sincere problems or ruin my driving experience. But there's a few more things I would like in this car. I wish it had tinted windows, I wish it had bigger wheels, and I wish it had things like the adaptive cruise control. But again, like, pick your battles, innit? Talk about first world problems. Listen, but I'm just being honest, there's some things I would like. One thing I do dislike, and it's a genuine dislike, and it's not the car's fault, it's 9 years old, but this infotainment system, it isn't great. Maybe it was when it came out, like, you know, in 2015 or 2013 when these cars were launched. I think the big ones were 13 and these were a year or two after. I don't like the infotainment system, and I don't like the standard speakers. So the infotainment system, I think this screen's just really quite dated now, and the actual facility and functionality of it as well is quite laggy at times. It feels really old and clunky, so I don't like that so much. The controls and stuff I don't mind, but the actual display here, I don't like it. And I guess the standard speaker system could definitely be better. This hasn't got the Meridian. Like I say, it doesn't ruin it for me because I'm not really a music buff inside the car. I quite often drive the car with the radio off, to be honest with you. It's not a big thing for me, but I do think Range Rover, for such a premium car, Porsche, the stereo system should be better. So a dislike, yeah, it is a dislike. I do dislike the standard stereo, it's not great. So I think that's covered the likes and dislikes. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, so I don't want to drag the video on while I try and pinpoint things I either like or dislike. I think if I disliked or liked them enough, I'd know them by now to say. The next question then, I guess, is, do I regret buying it? Would I buy another one? So do I regret buying it? No, I definitely don't. I think it's such a loader car for the money. I'm more than happy with this car. I know what I'm in for with the Land Rover product in terms of their quirks and potential issues. Every car you buy nowadays is a roll of the dice. That side of things is just inflated, isn't it, with a JLR product? So I'm aware of that. Do I regret buying it? No. Would I buy another one? Yes. Would I buy a different one next time? Yes. Yes, I would. I'd buy one. If I was actually going out actively looking to shop for one of these, I'd probably pick one up with maybe one or two more gadgets on it. The Meridian definitely, I think, would be a thing, and tinted windows would be a thing, and bigger wheels would be a thing. But this one came up so cheap, I couldn't pass up on it. So I don't regret buying it, but would I buy a different one? Yes. And if I had the ultimate choice, I would actually buy the Vogue, the big one, and probably the TD-V8, because I'd like the extra horses. But I do not regret buying this car at all. One of the final things I wanted to address for you all is depreciation, and not to go through it again and how depreciation works on cars and how it affects the JLR product and stuff, because I've done a video on that. I'll put a little thing up somewhere for you to look at. But depreciation, I wanted just to touch on that for you. So I've had this car 6 months, right? Had you been a customer visiting a garage to buy this car in January when I bought it, probably would have been up for 21,995, for example, £22,000, something like that. You obviously lose money the minute you drive off the forecourt. With bigger cars like this, there's a larger disparity between what you buy the car for and what they're worth to trade it back in, even the same day, because of things the dealer's got to factor in, which again I won't ramble on about. But if you were to trade this car in today with this miles, you would expect somewhere in and around the £13,000 mark. Okay? Now, looking at the figures here, and I'll pull these up so you can see an insight from my end. Looking at the figures here, the car's actually increased in value this month a little bit. And I think now, looking at the analytics and statistics that I've got access to, I would expect this car to start, if not already, plateauing out, okay? So the book price on this car when I bought it as a trade-in was somewhere between 15 or 16. So you can't look at it like, oh my God, I've lost 8-9 grand in 6 months. That's not how it works, because a chunk of that is already taken up by the fact you bought it retail and that you're trying to trade it back in. A large chunk of it's taken up by that. Thank you so much. So the book price on this car when I bought it was, as a trade-in, 15 to 16,000 pound, and today it's worth around 13. So the depreciation's not been that aggressive really, but I don't intend to trade it anytime soon. I intend to keep it. So that's just a little insight I thought you might be interested to see. Just to recap, something off the back of the last video, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, is what I said. So if you're buying an expensive premium car against something more generic and everyday of less value, the depreciation curve is going to be way more aggressive. Just bear that in mind. And I think it's probably fair to stop the video there. I don't want to go on about it. That's how I feel about the car after 6 months and sort of 6,000 miles. I am still thoroughly enjoying this car. It's not caused me any major upsets yet. If it does, I'll be sure to do a video on it. If I could turn the clock back, I would do the exact same thing and buy this car again. So I hope you found this video interesting. I really appreciate you tuning in. And if you did, please do leave a like. It massively helps our channel out, our little channel. So please do leave a like. I welcome your comments, good or bad, but just keep it clean as always. Thanks so much. Subscribe if you want to see more. We've got a load of things coming, a load of prior videos as well. We've got some fun videos on the channel. So check it all out. And listen, thanks again. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.